Ben Roethlisberger appears to subtly criticize the Shedeur Sanders hype. Shadur Sanders' arrival to the Cleveland Browns came with plenty of noise. It all began when he slid far in the NFL draft this past April. Once projected to go early, he kept falling down the board until the Browns finally picked him at number 144 overall. No one is quite sure what caused teams to pass on him. Some say it was arrogance, others blame the attention surrounding his father, or all the pre-draft buzz that didn't sit well with certain franchises. Whatever the reason, he landed in Cleveland, adding to an already crowded quarterback room. Now that minicamps have wrapped up and the preseason looms, the chatter around him hasn't slowed. Some of it is positive. Many believe he's the team's near future and a player worth investing in. But there are also plenty of negative takes, including speculation that Shedeur could be the one cut when final rosters are trimmed. What's undeniable is that he's put the Browns in the spotlight. Nearly every day, there's a new headline involving him, directly or indirectly. For now, the question remains, what will Cleveland do with him? Leading up to the draft, Shedeur hosted his draft party, a choice many prospects have made since the pandemic, opting for personal events over attending the draft in person. But Ben Roethlisberger, former Steelers quarterback, has always leaned toward simplicity rather than showy celebrations. Ben Roethlisberger praises Will Howard's humble draft reaction. When Will Howard was drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 6th round, he couldn't hide his emotions. He burst into tears as the dream of playing in the NFL became real even if his selection came late. The moment resonated with Roethlisberger, who had this to say. He gets drafted 6th round and tears pouring down his face. His dream of playing in the NFL. At least he has a chance. Doesn't mean he's going to make it. 6th round, but he's excited about it. You watch other guys and they get drafted and are like, let's throw a party. Let's have cameras. Although Roethlisberger was careful not to name anyone specifically, his words were interpreted as a veiled jab at players like Sanders, those who celebrate every step with fanfare, especially during the draft. I'm not trying to bash any one person, but you just see the difference sometimes in the love of the game. While Roethlisberger didn't call anyone out by name, many believed the comments were aimed directly at Shedeur. When Roethlisberger was drafted, he kept things minimal. Meanwhile, Sanders had a fully designed room with the word legendary on the wall and hats from every NFL team. Despite the praise and criticism, Shedeur continues to work hard to prove he loves the game and hopes to earn the starting job or, at the very least, make the final 53-man roster for the Browns' 2025 season. When NFL veteran and two-time Super Bowl champion Ben Roethlisberger speaks, the football world listens. Quietly retired but never fully removed from the game, the former Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback has transitioned into a post-career voice, thoughtful, measured, and occasionally sharp. So, when Big Ben recently weighed in on the meteoric rise of college football sensation Shedeur Sanders, people didn't miss the nuance in his tone. On his podcast Footballin' with Ben Roethlisberger, the ex-Steeler was discussing the evolving expectations of young quarterbacks when he dropped a subtle line that felt more targeted than general. There's a difference between hype and production. A lot of guys are being treated like pros before they've done anything against pros. He never said Shedeur Sanders' name. He didn't have to. The internet connected the dots. The golden spotlight on Shedeur. Shedeur Sanders, the high-profile quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes, and son of NFL Hall of Famer and current head coach Deion Coach Prime Sanders, has become one of the most talked-about players in college football. His charisma, precision passing, and clutch performances have made him a media darling. With every game broadcast, commercial, and Instagram post, Shedeur's brand grows. He drives a Maybach. He's a regular in nil headlines. He's a top NFL draft prospect. In Boulder, he's treated more like a franchise QB than a college student. And it's not all empty flash. Shedeur has delivered under pressure. In the 2023 season, he threw for over 3,200 yards with 27 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions, behind one of the worst offensive lines in the FBS. He was battered and sacked more than any starting quarterback in the Power 5, yet still played with poise and fire. But to someone like Roethlisberger, a grinder who rose through traditional ranks at Miami, Ohio, before becoming a rookie phenom in the NFL, the sheen of stardom without NFL stripes might ring a bit hollow. Old school eyes on a new school star. Roethlisberger came from a different era. Before NIL deals, before college players had personal camera crews and custom cleats, quarterbacks earned respect by enduring hits and stacking wins. Ben's rise was forged in mud, not filters. So it's not hard to see why someone of his pedigree might look sideways at the Shedeur Sanders phenomenon. Roethlisberger's comments weren't overt shots. They were more like cautious reminders. You want to root for these young guys, he said. But you also want to see them go through the hard stuff, not just the highlights. That hard stuff is precisely what Shedeur has gone through. A battered body behind a porous O-line, losing streaks despite top-tier stats, and the pressure of carrying a program under a national microscope. But to the old-school eye, the Maybach in marketing can still blur the perception of grit. The fine line between hype and hate. In a social media-driven era, hype is both fuel and fire. It can elevate a player into superstardom, but it can also burn them under scrutiny. Roethlisberger's comments, while subtle, hit a nerve because they represent a growing sentiment among older players and analysts. Is the Shadur Sanders buzz too much, too soon? The quarterback position has always carried an extra weight of leadership, humility, toughness. When a 21-year-old is treated like a Heisman winner and future top 5 NFL pick without a major bowl appearance to his name, the skepticism kicks in. But here's the irony: Shedeur welcomes it. He's never shied from criticism. After losses, he's taken accountability. He studies film like a veteran. He works like he's still proving himself, because he is. In that sense, Roethlisberger and Sanders might be more alike than they realize. Generational clash, not contempt. What we're seeing may not be personal criticism, but rather a generational friction between players who came up before NIL and those who've learned to embrace it, between quarterbacks who built their reputation in the locker room and those who build it simultaneously online and on the field. Roethlisberger, with his gravelly pragmatism, represents the past, a time when rookies earned their stripes in silence. Sanders, with his entrepreneurial spirit and social media savvy, represents the future, a new model of athlete who owns both the moment and the marketing. Neither is wrong. Both are quarterbacks, but they speak different languages.